Hi there, I'm coming to you from Poznan in Poland. I've almost literally just got off the plane from Sao Paulo, Brazil. That sounds really exotic, not trying to show off, but just sort of suggesting why I'm a little unshaven. But I just had to explain something to you, or share something with you that's been bugging me. I've been spending a lot of time in the last few weeks with some really, really smart people. And I'm about to again. I've got 19, 20 folk together tomorrow who are building really clear plans. And one of the most interesting subjects that we begin our planning with is objectives. And it seems like such a simple subject, but I want to give you an example of why the notion of revenue can mask a lot of sins. Now, sales has been measured on revenue for a long time in most businesses. In fact, in some it's measured on gross profit. But let's go back to sales for a moment. Now, the brave marketers around the world are saying, listen, I get why I'm here. I'm here to create an environment in which sales can succeed. I'm okay with that. So measure me on revenue too. I want to show you why that's not a great idea. It actually will result in us having an even harder task. So stay on the brave side, but don't focus on revenue. Here's why. Imagine that your target is $100 of revenue. I've chosen a very small number so that the very large companies don't dismiss what I'm about to say if I use a small number. So I'm using a ridiculously small number. Stick with me. $100 of revenue. Now that actually was your target last year. This year you want $200 of revenue. So what should marketing's target be? In fact, what should sales' target be? Is it 100? Turns out, probably not. Let me give you a hypothetical churn figure, that is how much of your revenue you lose each year. Let's imagine for the moment that you lose a third of your revenue every year. And by that I mean if you've got 30 customers, next year 20 of them will still be with you. Now that's still good. That means that the customers stay with you for an average of 3 years, which is perhaps still good. It's just an example. But if you have an average relationship length of 3 years, then you're going to lose 1/3 of your customers every single year. So that $100 of revenue you enjoyed last year, you can probably only count on 2/3 of that, or if you like, $67 this year. Now your target has gone up from 100 to 200. So what should you be gold on? Well, it's not 200. Of the 200, 67 of it is already in the bag. There was 100 last year. We said we had a churn of 1/3 or 33%. So this year we can actually count on $67 worth of revenue. We're trying to get to $200 revenue. Therefore, your real target this year is $133, $134. Let's take a look at next year. Next year, the organisation wants you to deliver $300 of revenue. But remember that you finished this year with $200 of revenue. Again, you expect to lose 1/3. So your real target, well, of the 200, you're going to lose 1/3. Plus you have to lift by 100. That's your new target. So in your third year, next year, first year was last year, second year was this year, third year is next year. In your third year, you're actually going to have to deliver $166 of new business. But what does that really mean? If your average deal size is, let's stick with the silly numbers, is $10. So you're trying to generate $10 sales. Yeah. Most of our businesses are trying to generate multi-hundreds of thousands of dollars. Stick with my example, $10. So we had $167 or 166 and a bit is our target next year. If the average deal is $10, then you need 17 deals. This year, you're going to need 13 deals. Sales and marketing should be measured on pulling in 13 new deals of a certain size. Why am I labouring that? Because in funnel management, it's all about generating a certain outcome, a precise outcome. To generate that precise outcome, 13 deals this year, 17 deals next year, to generate that precise outcome of 13 deals, how many proposals do I need to put? To generate that number of proposals, how many clear needs do I need to have? To get to that point, how many troubled buyers do I need to be engaged with? To get to that point, how many interested buyers need to be engaging with our content or our calls? And how many names do we need to begin with? You can't work any of that out if you're thinking about revenue, because using that 1/3 churn example, 2/3 of last year's revenue is already in the bag. It completely misleads. What should sales and marketing be targeted on? 13 new sales this year of a certain size and 17 new deals next year of a certain size. That's it. That's the rant. Get very clear on what the bottom of the funnel looks like, and it's not revenue. It's new sales. Could be that your new sales come from old clients. That's perfectly valid. Whether we're talking about new logos or we're talking about new projects from new and old customers is very situational. It doesn't change the basic conversation. At the bottom of funnel is a number of closed deals, not revenue.